guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about some classic Doctor Who. And we're going to be giving some recommendations for people that don't watch classic Doctor Who. So maybe fans who watch a lot of the modern show, who are interested in delving back into the classic show. And my question is, if you could recommend one season from each classic Doctor for someone who is perhaps familiar with modern Who, but hasn't seen a lot of classic Who, and they're kind of thinking about delving back into classic Who to kind of get a feel for the classic Doctors, which season would you recommend for each Doctor? So if you could only recommend one season from each Doctor in classic Who, which season would it be for someone only familiar with modern Who? For me, with the first Doctor, it's season 2. Multiple reasons. One, I just think season 2 is his best season. It's also his most complete, with only 2 episodes from the Crusade missing. And then you just have so many good stories. I like Planet of Giants. Dalek Invasion of Earth is essential watching. I really like The Rescue. I love The Romans. It shows classic Doctor Who can do comedy well. I'm trying to remember the order the stories go, and I can't write off. The Crusade is pretty good. Again, you only have the 2 missing episodes. Make it a little harder to get through, but it's still good. You have The Web Planet, which isn't the best, to be fair, but it's ambitious. I mean, I might have them skip The Web Planet. The Space Museum is better than its reputation. The Chase is not great, but nothing's perfect. And The Time Meddler is really good. I'd probably just tell them to pick certain stories from that season, maybe. The Time Meddler is really good, though. But I would definitely go season 2 for the first Doctor. For the second Doctor, gotta be Troughton, just because that's the most complete. And I wouldn't want to just throw somebody into the deep end with recons and animations and the missing episodes and all that. I don't know how aware someone that just watched the modern series would be with that and how open they would be to animations and recons. So I would probably just go through season 6 and maybe have them skip past Space Pirates, because although you still have them having to get through the Dominators, and the Dominators really is a hard one to get through, maybe have them skip the Dominators or go back and watch the Dominators after the rest of the season. The Dominators is hard. The Mind Robber's good, though. I think The Crotons is very underrated. It is a good story. It's a great little 4-parter that knows it only needs to be a 4-parter. The Invasion is amazing, and you only have a couple animated episodes to get through there. Seeds of Death is good. And definitely better than the Ice Warriors. And then with the War Games is great. If they can handle the fact it's 10 episodes long, which I think it fills its runtime well, I would go with season 6. But my main reason for picking season 6 is it's the most complete. I find the stories to the other 2 seasons for Troughton probably better as entry points if the missing episodes weren't a factor. But because of the episodes that exist and the episodes that don't, I'd say season 6. For Pertwee, it's a little harder. It would either be 7 or 10. I think season 10. I think the 7-parters for season 7 might be a little rough going for them, especially Ambassadors of Death. That's hard. That's rough going for me. So definitely them. I mean, season 8's an interesting choice because they could see the Master, but I think the Master being in every story might get a little old for them. I think season 10 is a good way to go. You have 3 Doctors, which gives them a little more knowledge of the first and second Doctor. You have Carnival of Monsters, which is great. Frontier in Space is good, even though it has an abrupt ending. And while Planet of the Daleks isn't the best in the world, it's not bad by any means. It's just not great. And then, of course, you have The Green Death, which is a great way to end the season. So I actually think season 10 is a good way to go. Although, I'd be tempted to say season 11, because you have Sarah Jane, and if they're big fans of Modern Who, they're probably going to be familiar with Sarah Jane, especially depending on their age. They might have grown up with Sarah Jane adventures. So thinking about it, I might go season 11, especially since season 11 is actually a pretty good story. You have The Time Warrior, which is fantastic. Invasion of the Dinosaurs, if they can get past the special effects. You have Death to the Daleks, which is good. Monsters of Peladon. Planet of Spiders, which is okay. All right, not the best story-wise, but at least you have Sarah Jane there to kind of ease them into it. For the 4th Doctor, it's also very difficult. Like, if I wanted to pick a season that had a good combination of like the Hinchcliffe stuff and the Williams stuff, I'd probably pick season 15, but I also think season 15 might be his weakest season, so I don't think I'd do that. I'd probably just go season 13. I know most of it's that gothic horror style, so they're not getting a real feel for all of the Fourth Doctor, but it's also the best season the show's ever put out. I mean, Terror of the Zygons is great, Planet of Evil is great, Android Invasion is great, Brain of Morbius is great, Seeds of Doom is great, Pyramids of Mars is great. I mean, they're all varying degrees of really good. They're either great or they're amazing or they're masterpieces with no bad stories in them. So I actually would probably still go season 13, although I'd probably tell them to also watch like season 17, even with all the problems 17 might have, because it's so much fun. The Fifth Doctor's definitely season 20. I thought about 19 a little bit, but season 20. Season 20 has no clunkers for me. I can't even remember every story in season 20 off the top of my head, but I actually like Arc of Infinity, especially with updated effects. Snake Dance is good. It's a great sequel to Kinda, although you might want to show them Kinda before Snake Dance, I guess. Maldron Undead is good. Terminus is a bit forgettable, but with the updated effects, it really helps it. Enlightenment is good, all 3 versions. And then The King's Demons, I think, is really good. And The Five Doctors is great. And that gives them a chance, again, to see some of the previous Doctors and learn just how amazing Troughton is. Troughton's amazing. Sixth Doctor got to be season 22. I mean, even if there were more choices for him, I think I'd pick 22. Season 22 is just a good season. So I really think it would give them a chance to see kind of that darker era Doctor Who went through briefly there with season 21 and 22. To give them a chance to see some of that. And it's executed really well. I like season 22. I don't think season 22 really has any bad stories right off the top of my head. And then for the Seventh Doctor, I would probably say season 25. I'd probably tell them to watch 25 and 26. While I personally prefer 26, I feel like season 25 is a great middle ground for the Doctor. Whereas the season 24, he's a little lighter hearted. And season 26, he's way more chess master. Season 25 balances that really well with them. Plus, the stories are good. Remembrance, of course, is one they should see. Happiness Patrol is good. Silver Nemesis is a little weak, but I like it. It might be a little harder for them to get through. And while I'm not the biggest fan of Greatest Show is a popular story, so they would probably end up appreciating it, especially if they knew the behind-the-scenes stuff going on for it. So I think I would do that, and then I would have them watch the TV movie, too. I would definitely recommend the McGann movie. It's a great bridge from classic to modern. I'd probably recommend the McGann movie before I would even go into Classic Who. If you're thinking about branching out from Modern Who, I would say start with the McGann movie and then travel back to Classic Who. That's what I would do. It's a great little middle ground. So that's the seasons I would pick. I want to know what you think of my choices and the seasons you would pick. So comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. That helps me out. You know I appreciate it. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's links to that in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I do appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It does help out a lot. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, and a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.